Apparently, I pressed the button, and we are. Hey,
Mile High Sports. We are live. We're going to talk a little bit of Nuggets, a little bit of Avs today, but mostly we're going to talk about the Denver Broncos, their sound win over the Buffalo Bills, not controversial at all, and the upcoming matchup against the New England Patriots. So stick with us, and we will be right back.
I mean, could it be any better?
Something's going on. It's wild today. We just gonna skip the intro? Call it.
It's not clicking. Let's just get in it. Do you want to just get in it?
Let's just get in it. Who needs an intro?
Button's not clicking. Just get in it. Hey, yeah. Just so everyone knows, it's that cool, catchy little jingle.
I mean, it is cool. Don't get me wrong.
It is cool.
It's been a bit of a we're both. You got a tight schedule today. We're both trying to make things work. Our guy Johnny is out of commission at the moment. He usually gets this set up for us, so we apologize for not being a little more on top of it. But we are here, and we're going to talk Colorado sports because that's what we do.
Yeah, sometimes tech, and the button, it doesn't go, and then you have a choice. You have a choice. It's time to ride, I think. And I'm just pumped to talk about sports. We're going to talk Avs be Avin. The Nuggets be playing basketball. That's too tight. It's too tight to mess with. Yeah, be careful when you say Nuggets. And the Broncos be Bronkin. So we got fun stuff. Bronkin.
I like that.
Yeah. But first, how's your week?
Oh, it's a week. It's fun. Back to the grind, back to the usual. Kids got a day off on Monday, but now they're back at school, so that's good for everyone, I think. Let's go Broncos. I got my tickets taken for Arizona Mile High. Can't wait. Let's go.
Let's go.
Hey, and props to you for not being I mean, you probably already have the tickets, but not being deterred by a backup quarterback starting. This is still a big deal. The game's got to be played for a reason,
That's 100%. Let's see. Coach Chris, you were there a decade ago. I was there. Manning at the moment that game play, I can't in good conscience say he was physically the best on the roster. I couldn't there's a lot. And is Jared Stidham in this current edition better the 2015 season, 2016 postseason Peyton Manning? We're fixing to find out, as Gary Kubiak once said. But this has been a lot. It's been a lot the last little bit. That said, first, has there been a more precipitous fall in elation to what the in sports fandom than what happened on Sunday? We're in the AFC Championship game. I'm already picturing Super Bowl and trophy, and I'm boom, and then 27 minutes. I think Ryan Koenigsberg said. I think it was 27 minutes from the end of the game to post-game announcement of, but your starting quarterback snapped his ankle. What? No, that's got to be that. That's got to be that Adam Schempner account, or the
I was looking at that too. I was
it's got to be one of those,
Yeah,
it's got to be fake. And then it was not as Sean Payton said it himself directly, which you appreciate the quick. It sucks, guys, and we're just gonna tell you instead of them hiding it, and all of a sudden today we're finding out oh, by the way, I'm starting quarterbacks up. So anyway, it that was something. I never felt like the high to low like that. That was such a big drop. I'd never been. But it's Wednesday. It's sunny out. You know what? We got the AFC Championship game. We got to win 2 games. You know what I mean? And it's a team game. Crazier things have happened. We'll get into it. Look, there have been actually a pretty good amount of backup quarterbacks with playoff success and Super Bowl rings. Jim Plunkett, Jeff Hostetler, Nick Foles. And you could go like some guys that started Super Bowls that weren't that great. Like I love Johnson for some, you know. I mean, you look at it and you're like, okay, there's been just some Jags that have won some Super Bowls, you know. And so
yeah, for sure.
I looked at that and I was like, all right, you know, like, yeah, right. It's not, you didn't draw it up this way, but beginning of the season, hey, your Broncos playing 60 minutes away from going Super Bowl. I wouldn't have asked any questions. I would have said, well, yeah, but I'd be like, yeah, sign up. Sign up. So you got that. We got the Avs who are Avin and the Nuggets. Excited about, a little mad about last night, but let's talk about it. Who we start with? GTZ for Sheezy?
We can talk about the Avs. I don't think there's much to talk about. They did make a small trade yesterday. Traded Ilyas Soloviev. Regardless.
To Pittsburgh for, is it Petussin?
Yeah, Petussin.
And a seventh round draft pick. Back. Big time hockey players have been found in the 7th round.
It's a little different than your other drafts.
Yep. So is it like, so one, okay, so you are the more of the deeper hockey of us. Sure. But I could safely say that this is not this move does not signal anything of importance, right? This is not we can both say this is not a big time move.
No, I think it might signal that you get Devin Taves back sooner than later, though, if they're moving off a defenseman. That's the only thing.
Hewen is like, to me, it's the mechanism. It's we feel good enough to move this piece from your defensive depth to that, and you're getting a pick, which I'm making a mockery of a 7th round pick in hockey, but there's been players that have been. I think wasn't the goalie like a 10th rounder, that minor that played? I mean, like
really high drafted.
Yeah, but so like it's a little bit like baseball. Like there's still some guys that get found towards the end. But they're, anytime that you're gaining a pick, especially I think of like when it's down there is a load up, right? An asset collection. So if I'm looking at it from a business perspective, you're bringing back a player, so you feel organizational roster. So whether or not it goes to the Eagles, you bring Taves in, but like you still have the same amount of dominoes, right? And you gain an asset. So you gain a 7th round pick, which you can bundle. You do a 3rd and a 7th, maybe in the chart, that's a 2nd round pick because the 7 bumps it up, maybe, who knows? But I don't think that throw in is for nothing.
Yeah.
That being a part of the deal, that had to be a part of, we really want a little bit extra, and they didn't move off of it because it'd been pretty easy to be like, all right, that's a throwaway pick. Goes to show, I think that if I were to say it, I think that means this team is open for or preparing that it will make a move if necessary, right? So I think we've looked at this roster. It seems pretty damn airtight, but we know hockey season's long. We know the Olympics are coming up, and I think like 20 players, or was that heavy? Like there's going to be a large amount of Avs across the Olympics. I think even some of the minor league guys. And so it's just wear and tear, and who knows what you I think you got to plan for the worst case scenario, which I'm not going to say it out loud because I think we know what that might be. And so you're planning on, if we got to make a move because we got to fill a hole, then we do so. And so that excites me, not knowing the player coming back, but to be honest, like I don't even, like if you brought a name, then I don't know that you would have brought someone better than Taves, and then you're to get 9 minutes or 10 minutes, and so part of me is actually feel better that it's not a big name, because I think that maybe that indicates someone's going to be out longer than you thought. Gabe will be out longer or Taves will be out longer. That would have been more of a worry. than it being just it's back end roster shuffle. Probably maybe frees up some future dollars, or something. Maybe more of an expiring contract kind of thing. I have obviously not looking into it yet. Do you see anything different? Do you think that aligns with what you take, or do you think there's more to be had here?
Yeah, no, I think that sums it up pretty good. I think that, anytime that you're, like you said, if you get draft picks thrown on there, you're obviously wanting to deal them. And right now you're presuming that pretty much anyone you trade for, if you get a draft pick back, it's going to be better than yours. So at least you can offer a draft pick that's more valuable than your own draft pick. So there's always that. There's rumors of Kadri coming back. They'd have to make some moves and do some salary cap flipping, and he'd be a third line center. Is that something that he really wants? Maybe he does want to be back in Colorado. Maybe he wants to be back with his team. You're committing a lot of money to a third line center if you go that route, but also, you feel like this is the team that's going to win it all. You may as well, unload the clip, so to speak. So, acquiring assets is always a good thing. I think really you're trading a guy. It's kind of just like a prospect swap, is what it feels like. A guy that maybe you need a little more depth at winger, they need a little more depth at defenseman, so you swap them. And then you end up getting a pick out of it. I think it's obviously, something that is good for the Avs to just keep an eye out. This D group is pretty solid as it is right now, assuming for the most part everyone stays relatively healthy. So I don't think Soloviev, well, I don't know how we say it, was a part of your immediate future plans anyways. So, may as well acquire assets. I think, when you have a front office like the Avs do, they're always in the business of making moves and trying to better the team and put them in a better position. So, again, not a lot out of it immediately, but we'll see it. We'll see what kind of dividends it reaps, or if it's something that gets packaged down the line. But, always love to see them being active. You can be first and just be happy sitting pat, and that's not how they're operating right now. And I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it shows that they're not resting. And I think it'd be pretty easy for them to say, hey, you know what? Like, our work starts in the off season now. Like, let's let this bullet train finish it up. Any concern about them not being the hottest team in hockey right now?
No. I mean, like, you can't be the hottest team all season, I don't think, so you follow up a loss with a good win against the Capitals. If you start streaking, if they start throwing together some losses in a row, maybe you get a little bit concerned, but right now you're still tops of the league.
You had an overtime loss and then a loss to the Predators.
Sure.
I'm conjuring up bull. I mean, you lost your Florida duo, but the Lightning are 9-0-1. And making a mockery a little bit because they are 6-3-1, and that's like a really rough patch for them. Which is just, it just is. Right. Dallas is 7-2-1. And so it's like they've only really lost one game in the Western Conference over their roughest patch of the season, which again is still, like almost a 70% winning clip. It's fun. It's fun to be this has to be how, like, I'm going to hate to say this, like Dodgers fans, like you're just, you know what I mean? Like your team is just stacked, except they're doing it in a hard cap sport.
Right.
Like, boom, that's general managering. You know what I mean? Like Sakic and McFarland should be studied
for sure.
Like science. Like,
they're killing it right now.
I mean, it's just, and to again, just reiterate, they unloaded one of the top 10 best players in the world.
Right.
Like you lost the top 10, gave away, traded, tomato. But your team is performing better. And you know what I mean? Like they got out, they made a decisive move 6 weeks before the trade deadline. It's cool. It's stand on business, right? Like those guys are working. They believe, my job is to support the players and the coaches and give them what they need. And we're not going to pull a Buffalo Bills and defend crappy moves by saying that the coaches didn't want them or the coaches wanted them. Anyway, we'll
talk about that.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, moving on. Let's go to, is there a more beloved team though? I think in Denver right now, like You know what I mean? Like the Broncos are like they've always been like that's the mule, right? That's the business. They drive the stuff. Avalanche are like cold-blooded killers. Like we like them. They have like a down season every decade, but they're playoff contenders every so often. They're going to get you a chip. And then you got the Nuggets, who just like, you have a all-world, humble, no social media print superstar who says 6 words an hour, and you dig it, right? The quirky guys, right? One of the best players on the planet. And Aaron Gordon will take his shirt off and party with you. Like, is there there's
just on the streets of downtown
Bruce
Denver.
Brown, like, he just puts on, he adapted to life. Owns horses and crap now. Like, just super dope. But Nuggets have been without their superstar, Nikola Jokic, for 3 weeks.
Yeah, about 3 weeks.
And, they have compiled a pretty good record since he's been out. So they lost 2 in a row, but before that they were 6-2, 6-3. So now 6-4 in the last 10. All those obviously without Nikola Jokic. However, if any of us had said, "Hey, if you can win 60% of your games with the best star out," and Aaron Gordon was still hurt, and Christian Brown was still hurt, and Cam Johnson got hurt, and Jamal Murray is going to miss some time there, and so is Tim Hardaway Jr. and Jonas is injured. You would have said, "I'll take them all," and I don't want to take the shine off it. So current number 3 seed, half game? No, I guess full game behind the Spurs.
After the
within striking distance of the Thunder. So I think just Thunder 7, but they've had all their horses really all season. They've kind of come back to the pack, and I think they've shown their vulnerability.
The other night. I'm not sure how severe it was. But
did he?
JW.
Well, yeah. There's a team that was built to plug and play, right? So
right.
That said, I'm not going to, no football mentality here where it's like every game matters. I like that. Was a good accent. I don't know what that was. I got to hold that one. You get trounced by the Hornets. You didn't show up. And it happens. You got the high of come back against the Wizards. You beat the Mavs on the road.
Second night of the back-to-back too.
Pelicans. Second night back-to-back when you won 4 in a row. Some reason just winning at home still is it's not happening really.
I think they're
yet.
12-8 at home, which is weird.
Yep, it is. It's even the Rockies have a better record at home, I think. Just kidding. Well, I mean, no, but jokey. To kind of choke away the game against the Lakers, mind you, the fully rostered Lakers with their 2 $60 million players and all that good stuff. I'm annoyed more because of the Laker fandom to lose to them, even though you understand the context of it. It goes to show, that's a playoff team, right? That's a team that is a top 4 seed, I think, right now, or top 5. And, that's the quality of opponent that you're going to get maybe in the first round, right? Right now you're going to play the Suns or the Timberwolves. Both of them are tough matchups. But you're going to get some of that ilk in the second round, at least with the Rockets, the Spurs, or the Lakers. And I think you can see, though, that game is where you miss Nikola Jokic, right? The streak stopper, the guy that's going to be able to get any shot he wants when he wants it, kind of thing. And or he is such a magnet for the defense that he will, in essence, just by being on the floor, create shots for other guys.
Yeah.
And that's really what I got from it. I didn't get anything from that game of note or importance other than, that's the difference, right? That's the Lakers without Luka, that's Wemby out, that's Shea, right? That's your team can compete, right? Because you got a lot of supportive players, and Jamal's playing at an all-star level this year for sure. And the NBA is 5 men on the court. One heroic effort won't carry you against a good team. The Lakers are a good team. And that's just what I got from it. Did you get anything other than, when you don't got your big horse, it's hard to, you're not going to be able to stop a team like that, especially when they get on a roll?
I mean, I'm not afraid of the Lakers after that. Like, they are missing Austin Reeves, so I'll give them that. They aren't fully healthy. Ayton did go out at some point injured, poked in the eye. But like, I don't know.
That Three Stooges defense, man. It's like it's good.
Yeah, it's real. But no, like they made a good adjustment. They started, attacking Jamal Murray with the double team early, kind of in sets. Sometimes throwing 3 guys at him. Guys are missing their shots. I think there's a few things that contribute to that. I think, when you're in a series with them, they're not going to be able to double Jamal. Like, they just won't. You can put a bigger, stronger defender on Jamal, but you're not going to be able to put 2 guys on him and think that Jokic isn't going to just operate
100%
and kill someone.
Yeah, I mean, please do. Like,
yeah, please do. Like, even if you're
God mode.
Yeah, even if you're swinging it to Jokic and then he's swinging it to the corner, that's going to be wide open, right? Like, they're just not going to be able to do that. I think you're seeing a little bit of the wear and tear of like extended minutes for Peyton Watson. I think he looks a little bit tired. I think it looks a little bit not sharp at the moment,
and especially when you get bigger bodies that can wear him a little bit over time. I mean, that hopefully there's a little bit of humility. Like, please, P. Watt, stay on the Nuggets for a long time. And I think that goes to hopefully be evidence of like the difference in being a guy that's relied on for a certain amount or in a certain way to a guy that has to play the bulk of the minutes. And you have to face, like guy after guy after guy within a game and within a truncated time or a season where you are just getting waves of humans thrown at you, right? It's no longer specialized. Like, you are, you're out there getting banged against by this. You're getting posted up by taller that, you're getting quicker that. And like, that part I think is super important for the evaluation process, because I saw the same thing of like, he looks tired. Mm-hmm. It's also maybe, he's a max effort guy when he's out there. Not always the right play all the time, but he's a guy that like, he's flying around somewhere, which I tell the kids, if you don't know where to go somewhere fast. So yeah, I saw that too. I think, back at, double end of back-to-back nights too, it looked like they ran out of it. And then when the Lakers started pulling away, and Luka's getting his flopping going and he's hitting tough shots. It's like, it's pretty easy to be like, it's hard to get the energy to get that stop when you're zapped, for sure.
Yeah. And I think like, I just think about when you roll out this team that's healthy, like, if you're playing man against them, like, I don't think they match up very well. The Lakers, I don't think they match up very well against, like, even Jamal Murray was ISOing against Luka. Like, Luka's a liability on defense. As good as he is on offense, he can be a liability on defense. Some may say the same about Jokic, but I think it's to a lesser degree. Maybe in that pick and roll game a little bit, trying to make him play up a little bit. But really, I think that I don't know. There's something about the defense with the Lakers that I think is a little bit fraudulent after last night. And it hasn't been good this season, if we're being real. Like, the Lakers are not known for their defense this year. They made a good adjustment. It worked this game. But, it just, at the end of the day, I'm unmoved by it all. Like, I just, do you want to win that game? Of course, you always want to beat the Lakers. Do you understand that there are going to be nights where Spencer Jones and Pickett and, whomever else took late minutes deep in the rotation aren't going to hit their shots in the third quarter and fourth quarter? Like, yeah, like, there's just going to be those nights when you're down bodies, right? And so I don't think you take much away from it, except that, when you have a full complement of guys, you're more likely to hit those shots. And you're the number one offense operating, in the NBA when you're fully healthy. And so I think that just adds a whole nother layer of how efficient this offense is and how good they've even been with Jokic out, with Jamal running things. It's just, they play the game the right way. And I think that, they've got a chance to win a lot of games, even without Jokic still. But yeah, I mean, I think you're seeing a little bit of wear and tear from those guys that are down the bench a little bit. I think Peyton Watson's understanding the kind of effort and wear and tear it takes to play at a high level in the NBA. Some guys make it look easy, but it's not easy, and so I think you got to kind of work your way into understanding what that mentality looks like every night. And I think, he's taking a step that direction. I don't know. I'm unmoved by the Lakers, and I'm not unworried about the Nuggets as of right now.
Yeah, I agree. So quick question on the spot is Jamal. Not do you think he is all-star? Do you think he is something?
Hold on. You cut out a little bit. Can you say it again?
Yeah, sorry. Not do you think he's worthy? Do you think he makes it? Is well,
I think he does. I think he does. I think had Jokic been healthy all season, then maybe not. I think that the fact that Murray got to kind of show that he can run the team while Jokic is gone, I think it'll be enough to put him over the hump when it comes to being a reserve. Obviously, I think he deserves it.
And that's right. So if you look at conference, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he's 8th in the Western Conference in scoring.
Yeah,
goes to show how good the West is. Like, jeez.
Yeah, it's good.
But he's better than Kevin Durant, Devin Booker. I mean, I go to like there's traditional names to look at as guys that are ball and he's one of them. Normally it's like Denver skew, you know, like lovable, the kind of the lovable team. I think he makes it too. I put $20 on it, so I think he's gonna be an all-star, and I think this is the year. And I think that this will reinforce a version of him for the next couple of years because I think he's a guy that wants like the validation of greatness. And so all that work that was different than years it produces the thing he's never got, which is an all-star appearance. I think that will do a lot. I'm banking on that being like a catapult into this kind of for a while his body holds up as a guy that kind of gets it. It's like, all right, I made one and is done trying. I think he likes proven people, you know, like I'm good. He's like, so I'm stoked about it. And we can sadly finally put to bed that Nikola Jokic has never played. Just took 11 years.
Yeah. It's funny. I was thinking about some of the players that have never or that have been all-stars. And now I look back at them and I'm like, how are those guys all-stars? You know, you got your D'Angelo Russells of the world, where I'm just like, okay, that guy, he had a good season where he shot the ball well, but it's, you know, the benefit of playing in the Eastern Conference and on a team that
and being on a game where you're yakking up 30 shots a game, you know, like,
right?
Yeah, advanced. Just the raw data.
Yeah, Andre Drummond was one too that I was like,
dunk on people. Drummond.
Yeah.
Rebounds. There's only like 6 bigs at least.
Right. Rebound and play a little defense.
Like Ben Wallace, who's getting them at 6, 7, you know.
Right.
Yeah, right. Correction. Any other points you want to hit before we get to
No, I don't think so. I just want to keep pointing out that I think Adelman's done a really nice job with this team. He's let the young guys play. He's put some guys in positions to grow. Peyton Watson being one, Spencer Jones being another. You know, he's managed the veterans well. I think when you have the injuries that you have, still bringing a guy like Tim Hardaway Jr. off the bench is a little bit risky just because you know that he's, you know, a veteran guy that's going to want to be in that starting rotation when it comes down to it. But he's allowed them to play their roles. He's obviously explained why he needs them in the positions that they're in. You know, why we need Bruce coming off the bench, why we need Hardaway coming off the bench just for that extra scoring pop. You know, I think it's been a nice job of him just managing personnel and rosters. So I'm going to still keep pushing for him. I think he should be in the Coach of the Year running.
Yep. Yeah, and why isn't more man, Nick? Good to see you. This is the first ranking in a Then Nikola Jokic isn't first in the Kia MVP ranking, so he moved down to number 2.
It took 3 weeks of no play.
Moving up one. Took 3 weeks, still remembering. Look at these stats, because he's still number 1 in rebounds and number 1 in assists per game. 29.6 points a game, 12.2 rebounds a game, and 11 assists a game. Like, he's not like close to triple double, you know what I mean? Right. Like 10, 10, and 10 is still like a magnificent like stat line, but it's like it's almost 30. Like, it's a tick under 30, 12 and 11. Like, he's clearing those things, like just unreal, man. And you know what? I kind of think him getting hurt might actually be better for the Nuggets, because we've seen now, I think, the development of the younger guys. You lengthen the bench, you give Murray more time to kind of find his rhythm, other guys to get shots, so when he comes back, he doesn't have to carry the load. But that's just like 4, 5, 6 weeks of no wear and tear for a guy that played all of the was it FIBA, or was it the World? What was last? Yeah, I mean, on a 310-pound body or whatever, like, that's just wear and tear has got to be. I can't imagine like how many Tylenol he has to take. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I think in the end, it's gonna be good, especially if they're treading water like that. And why he hasn't gotten that part is the like, it's the Denver thing, but I also don't know enough, I think, maybe about the NBA coach of the years. In the NFL, it's like who does the most with less. Comeback player of the year is like, you really got to be hurt to come back, right? Like, for some reason, things like that. I don't know enough about, is there the voting history? Like, is it one you got to be in it for a little bit? Right. It's kind of a code, like a fraternity there. So anyway, with that, let's real quickly remind everyone, if you haven't, please go subscribe, comment on the algorithm. Definitely be following the Orange and Blue Network. They're dope, because with that, we have it's a measurable indicator. It's a crap ton of shows. Crap ton is no. So hit us really quick with what those shows and
you're going to get predominantly Broncos coverage on the Orange and Blue Network, hence the name. Except for us, we like to mix it up a little bit. But on Mondays, Mondays and Fridays at 11, you've got Orange and Blue Blitz, Broncos Bros, Mondays at 7 p.m. Nothing rhymes with Orange and Blue, Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Us at 2:30 p.m. Don't miss that one. When we say 2:30 p.m., it's like 2:30 to 3. Just bear with us. We get it. We get it together. Wednesdays, you've got Broncos Talk at 6 p.m. Thursdays at 7 p.m. You've got Mile High Outcasts, our Spanish show for the Broncos, Viva Los Broncos, Fridays at 5 p.m. Then you've got your Fresh Squeeze breaking news. There's Broncos breaking news, pregame, play-by-play, and postgame. You've got Get Buck, the Bucking Booth, and Buck Your Feelings. So lots and lots and lots and lots of Broncos coverage. You'll hardly miss a thing. Probably you won't miss a thing if you have Orange and Blue Network on your feed. Yeah. Anytime there's a move, a trade, a signing, these guys are all on top of it, including ourselves. So like us, subscribe, do all the things for us so we can be a good part of your week and your Broncos journey.
Yeah, I appreciate the peeps. It's just a good amount of human beings.
Yeah, so, for sure.
Love you guys. With that, though, I, as a parent of 4, get super tired. Okay. Caffeine helps. I'm not giving you medical advice for sure. Long-term effects, probably. However, get stuff done. Workouts, midday. W's really great. You get 10% off if you use the OBN. Okay, Orange and Blue Network. Oh, Nix 10 because he's number 10. All the good stuff, none of the bad stuff. No calories, no sugar, no melatox or whatever that is. If you can't pronounce it, don't put it in your body. No fillers, artificial flavors. Got a plethora of flavors again. So go use that code. One. Good. That. Wow, what a week. What a week. Got some good questions are in here about the game on Sunday. Your Denver Broncos AFC Championship game. That's pretty cool about you, but Crush, love you. You can't go if both go. Be more beneficial because he has chemistry with Band or Perry, etc. Because of the practice squad. Oftentimes, your backup quarterback is or can utilize Sam Ellinger instead. But Jared Stidham do have a pretty strong connection. So I would emphasize that. Practiced with Cortland Sutton multiple years. You'd think a backup quarterback especially, has connections with their tight ends. And don't forget, one of the best plays of the season, Jared Stidham scramble to the right, hits our boy Little Jordan for like a 70-yard touchdown, Sports Center, like all this stuff. So the man is connected in the locker room. And so I like that question. I think that's something to be of note. Sean's going to do the best that he can to make sure that the stuff that the Broncos run are stuff that Stiddy feels comfortable with, and emphasize players that would. That's for sure. But before we go too in depth with what's coming up, let's look at what's happened. The Broncos played the Buffalo Bills at home Saturday afternoon, 2:30 p.m. Broncos win in dramatic fashion, both in the walk-off kick field goal variety. Controversy by the catch that never was. The most amazing interception I've seen in a long time. Like as a former DB, not douchebag. I played defensive back. I played corner, and I've been douchey at the college. Both were true for sure. Two things true at once. That just to give context to the play, you're in overtime. Jaquan McMillan loses inside leverage, right? You get a wonderful route, plenty of time for Josh Allen to Brandon Cooks, puts enough air in it so that he doesn't throw it, because really getting in field goal range, 100%. He was there for that. Is Brandon Cooks, professional receiver. You like that matchup? Jaquan's 2 steps beat. He's able to make ground without interfering. Tre'Davious White, just write that down. And not only doesn't interfere, but plays through the ball to be able to secure it on the roll and come up with it. Like, imagine if you could see like the synapses going on in his brain, like while he's like, what did we use? Like 10% of our brain at one time, whatever that is. Yeah. He was like up to 50. Like he was up to 50. That dude was like, it was limitless, like Bradley Cooper, like where everything's moving in slow motion. And he's like, got the ball, like he already knows his celly. Like he knew where to go and stuff. Like, how did you do that? I would have peed my pants. Just like phenomenal. And I think even if it was a catch, gotta be some rewarding greatness. Like that play was great. That play is like an all-time playoff highlight. And going back, it wasn't a catch. You have to survive the ground. The ball in any level of the sport, you hit the ground, you have to maintain control through the ground. Meaning, if Jaquan wasn't there, Brandon Cooks goes, catch the ball, hits the ground, ball pops out, it's incomplete pass. Okay, so therefore, could never be ruled a catch because he didn't complete the catch. Right. Even if you go look at the NFL when they put out the reminder for the ruling, the video, Chris Henson, ball pops out when he hits the ground, incomplete pass. So put that in your pipe and smoke it there. Now put it back in the pipe, dash it up. Jaquan doesn't let the ball hit the ground, right? Which means that the ball's still in play. Means if it got bobbled, anyone caught it, you can maintain possession. So, to the ground, maintaining it through the ground, which Brandon Cooks did not, is the reason why it was an interception. If you don't ask, go check out my Embo. It's very clear that the refs got it right. Again, no extended replay. It was so clear to the rule makers in the NFL that was an interception. Even like explain it over the intercom. They didn't like justify like, yep, we did it. Let's go. 40-second clock. So just all the theatrics, man. It was, got the best player in the world, playing the best team in the AFC, and the best fandom in the planet. Broncos country was loud AF, which is funny because like I keep hearing like each game that that's the loudest I've heard it. That's the loudest I've heard. Been there a lot, which it goes to show how deprived we've been of like this level of team success.
For sure.
We are a city that has held it, and when we do have an opportunity to really impact the game, Broncos country showed out. So maybe just your take from the game. What are some points that you found one to be most impactful, most surprised? Is any of that?
Yeah. I think I want to start with the defense. It wasn't the most dominant defensive performance we've seen from this Broncos team. We've seen some pretty dominant performances this year. But man, they were opportunistic. They turned the ball over. They got the offense extra possessions. That turnover right before the half that got us immediately in field goal range was huge. They just had some timely turnovers that you really needed down the stretch. Obviously, a 3-point game that goes to overtime. The defense did what they were supposed to go out and do. Was it seamless at all times? No. Did they give up a little bit more, between the 20s for sure than we would have liked at times? Josh Allen's a great quarterback. We all like to dunk on these good quarterbacks when they lose, and rightly so. This is what fandom is. But Josh Allen, is arguably the best quarterback in the NFL right now. And
reigning MVP. I mean, watching him play, I will say it. This season, he is the best player in the NFL.
I think so too.
He does everything. He's not. He just is. Is dude. Just so Chris, I'm going to table this because I have some things. So, just a few minutes.
But yeah, so I mean, just to give the defense some props. I know some people have been somewhat critical of how they looked, but I think obviously, they did what they needed to go out there and do. I think that without getting too far ahead of ourselves, I'd like to see more in the running game. I think Harvey did a good job. I think they don't trust him to take as many carries as I'd like in a scenario where you need to run the ball, just because. A, I think because he's a rookie, and B, because I think he's a little undersized between the tackles. So we'll talk a little bit more about that going into the next game. I think that could have helped the team a little bit. But our offensive line did a good job protecting Bo. He didn't take too many hits. They looked like the same team they've looked like all season, which is the funny thing to me is, everyone's talking about, how the Broncos have been playing over their heads, how they've had luck in the fourth quarter. And it just goes to show, like, this team is not lucky. This team understands the moment. This team understands what it takes to win. They've been coached up a certain way, and they know you need to be opportunistic when it comes down the line. And the Bills were able to be opportunistic at times, but the Broncos took more advantage of their field position that they had and their ability to just come up with key plays. Bo Nix being kind of the facilitator of those, and call it luck, call it whatever you will, but keep sleeping on the Broncos. Obviously things have changed with the Bo Nix injury going into next week, but right now the Broncos were the underdog, maybe not technically at Whistle, but going into a home game as the 1 seed, they were seen as an underdog by a lot of people.
They were underdog betting, in some sites. It means it's more than a coin.
Not changing. You know, it's not going to change. So maybe they like being the underdog. We'll see.
Fandom wise, as I would rather root this way, right? Because I think you got less pressure. I think you can with more enthusiasm. Oh, like we were supposed to, and it's a little apprehension. You don't feel as joyous, expected to win versus we're going in with our rock, our slingshot, we're going to do our best. This team's been that year because every 60 minutes is a different path. Some other teams that win their way. Check, right, where it's just every game plan for playing and their style and approach, no matter what. Reminding too that the Broncos defense got 5 turnovers. Right? So, and 3, like they weren't tip turnovers. It wasn't like it was covering ground to be able to get over and make a timely interception. It was, Josh Allen making an attempt to run and guys punt the ball. Nick Bonito not just going for the sack, but being aware to be able to get a strip sack fumble. And I think just remembering that the Bills didn't stop playing or whatever that was. The defense pressure up to and including, right, one of the most memorable defensive plays in Bronco history. Quan made that play. Like he took the ball away. It wasn't Brandon Cooks fell down and he's just playing second top. And then the Broncos have to overcome, they handed the ball off 9 times. Like Bo Nix, there's a strategy to discuss. Right, this is how we're going to win this game. And the team figured it out. And what I really love about this team is like there's a skill, like there's a skill. Like you don't win even consistently by what there is a you make it. What I like about this team is it's not always the same guy.
Yeah,
it's not always the same guy that makes the play that gets above. Marvin Mims, unsung hero of this game, has been underutilized all season. Instead of pouting about it and all of that stuff, like A.J. Brown, runs straight into another human being. Still questionable move on his part. I'm like, I think he's dead. I think I said that to you exactly. I think he's dead. 8 catches on 8 targets for 90-something yards. Catching the ball with his hands as a shorter dude in a clutch moment and situation where the end of the first half or the end of regulation, Josh Allen doesn't make his throw that would have won the game. But Nix makes his throw, and his receiver makes that play versus Brandon Cooks not making that play. So to me, again, if people want to be able, as a fan, I think you can view this game any direction because you can, if you are a Bills fan, I think it's very easy to look at it. And we were host, we should this call that stuff. You are a Broncos fan, I think you're valid in being able to say our team went and took it. That we made this. There were calls that were missed that would have ended the game holding and zone drive before, and we would have. So I think hopefully general fans took like that was a damn good game. That was a really fun game. I know, in my opinion, whoever won that game, I wanted to win the Super Bowl. So yeah. I'm glad that I'm rooting for the team that won, but I also just enjoyed the football game. I enjoyed watching Josh Allen just be absolute tank, watching his emotion and understanding his responsibility as a quarterback and the organizational leader that he let his team down. His coaches and owners took as much accountability as he did. Spencer Brown even. The right tackle, he said, I was holding the shit out of people all game.
Yeah.
I was it. Like, yep, I was. Like, a couple up and they didn't get called. Like, it happens. So I appreciate that. I think that there's more respect when it comes to, like, player to player. I think has been huge. My big takeaway is we found the dude. Bo Nix is the dude. Like, you had to have a guy that can go toe-to-toe with the best in the game. Toe-to-toe with Joe Burrow, right, in Cincy, Monday night, you saw it. Clutch gene, right? Should have beat Patrick Mahomes on the road last year. Drove the team down for a game-winning field goal. We know how that beat Patrick Mahomes this year. Hasn't got off the hump. That was a little bit shocking there, but that definitely was more on the defense up than him. But then you got Slay Josh Allen, right, which I think is super impactful, important in the Eagles and kind of start the precipitous game. Like, you got the dude. And from there, like, you got to feel like the next 10 years was Super Bowl, whether or not they do, right? Like, so I don't want to get over my skis, but it's pretty dope. Like, all right, you got the guy, you got the coach. I hope they're just tight. It's like, if you get the roster with the right fortune within there, we have opportunities to be in this conversation for all. That part is the part I took from it. So even if they lost the game, they can throw whatever it was, absolute time. Pocket, it's like, for as shaky as he kind of is, start the game with his adrenaline when the game's on the line or it's late. That guy is his stunts are Michelangelo sculpture worthy. They're just phenomenal. I mean, in the fact that we are starting to get turnovers the last couple of games that we weren't. They made some good adjustments in the run game to slow down James Cook. So it was really exciting to get some adjustments to make them one-sided and giving you a chance to win and making some big plays. But you absolutely saw, though, that really good offenses, which they have in multiple occasions this year, have really been able to, giving up 30 points at home in a playoff game usually is a recipe for disaster. They cannot give up 30 points, in my opinion, this week and expect to win, even if they got 5 turnovers, unless they return all of those for touchdowns. Then mathematically, they still could win for sure. But those are kind of my takes. So let's talk about what's next. So I appreciate you do make your own luck, Chris. I'm going to throw a conspiracy theory out really quick before we have the Broncos game itself, okay? Bo Nix, at least to my knowledge, as of right now, has not been put on IR. Okay. Just think about that. Might be really helpful to have at this point in time for a guy that really can contribute. Maybe it's only 2 weeks. The 46th, 53rd guy isn't going to make that big a deal. Let's see how the surgery goes, yada, yada. There have been some medical professionals, at least that I've seen on the old intro webs. So not ones that I've researched myself. I'm going to say that. Can be. That has said crazy things happen. It depends on how he responds, because bones heal super fast. And if it's put together and it's stable enough and the wound heals, there's nothing that he can do that would make it worse. It's just whether or not he has stability and confidence in planting, because it's his right foot to throw.
Yeah.
But there is crazier things have happened than him bracing the crap out of it and shooting up Toro and going out there and competing on Super Bowl Sunday. So how hurt is he? Until he goes on IR, there is reserve that he is going to play Super Bowl, that he could be ready for. That's the only reason why you don't put IR, because you think that there's a chance. I think it said it's a 4 to 6 week injury. Is that right? Or 6 to 8 weeks? 6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8, I think,
If you're there's no games after it, there's nothing after it. And if you can't make it worse, so if you feel like bone is enough that outside of anything catastrophic, you won't injure tolerance at that point and stability because you've been off of it. Just put that out there. So I'm not going to say that it's dead. I think your hope and plan, or that can be your hope. And so with that, let's talk about what we got next. So the Patriots, who are the number 2 scoring offense in the NFL, won their matchup against the Houston. a really good defense, but really on the back of their own defense and creating 4 CJ Stroud because this dude's terrible. I don't know what happened, man. Like,
I don't know either.
He said that he's great. He's like in the top of quarterbacks. It just stopped. And I hope for him. I hope that story changes. But so they beat the Patriots, beat the Chargers, who, if any of us really thought the Chargers would be anything other than the Chargers, that's on ourselves. Cirque Days 2015 season. AFC Championship game. Patriots, their quarterback Tom Brady / and/or Drake May. We don't know what we got in our quarterback. Peyton Manning broke on old man, and then them who counts. I think there's a lot of confidence in that locker room about Jared Stidham, like to a man, and I don't think it's contrived. It is not cockiness. We see it, we believe in it. He can go do it. In the end, they got to win this one, but it's not like right without Bo Nix. Can you go out there and win a game against the Patriots if your defense falls out? Yes, Jared Stidham can do that. It gets to the Super Bowl if the Super matchup gets there, but I don't think I'm scared of the Patriots in terms of like you run into a buzzsaw and they're a good team who doesn't make a ton of mistakes. Who is playing really well. This is him, Bo Nix, but Jared Stidham has been a productive NFL player who is a out of college prospect. Who the Patriots, his rookie year, gave him the number 2 job. He earned that in camp with Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick there, and they don't do that. Bill Belichick does not. You got to earn it, which means he showed that he can comprehend the playbook, which was Josh McDaniels, like year 10. So that was a very intricate dialed-in plan with him and Tom. While coming from Gus Malzahn's not NFL style, like I think the report was when I was here, and I think the of your guys talk about it, about prospect-wise, he was years behind.
Yeah. As far as reading
offenses came from.
Yeah.
The fact that he was intellectually capable of getting it, where the Patriots felt good enough for him to be the number 2 as a 4th-round pick, I think to show his aptitude. I think it goes to show too the reason Russell Wilson got released was he felt very clear that the quarterback get a quarterback in the draft, which ended up being great. That's the plan. And I think for us having some confidence in, I that Sean Payton thinks they'll win with Jared Stidham. Contrived. I don't think it's fake. Whether or not it'll be accurate, we'll figure it out. But I think that building feels like he is a guy capable. And so let's talk about the matchup. Against the New England Patriots defense, you kind of see, but I would be variable like two. I'm not shocked that they are getting the best out of them, especially defensively. But what's your take about, what are some of your hopes and on this chart? It looks like Brian's there. Franklin, I'm planning that both of them will not play.
Yeah.
Second concussion for Bryant in like 3 weeks or something. The third maybe this year. I'm not sold on that, but dude's had some rough ones.
Yeah.
He just can be. Franklin has a shot, but Marvin Mims, I think, showed everything that he needed to be. Evan has been underutilized, so you have an opportunity for, I think, a guy to play at rhythm. Without the playmaking ability per se, but What's your take? What do you think for this? What will your remedy be plan?
Yeah. Do you want to start on once? You want to start with the offense?
The defense first.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to go offense or defense first, bro?
Yeah, we can start offense. That's fine. I think that the thing that I'm hoping is that we establish a good running game. And I think that there are promising signs that J.K. Dobbins will play in this game. And I think that will be a large boon for Denver if that's the case. I think R.J. Harvey's done a nice job carrying the ball. I think they prefer to use him. Obviously, they'll use him to run the ball. But I think that if you're running between the tackles, and it looks like the weather forecast for Sunday could be a little bit potentially a weather game. We'll see what happens with that, but just makes me think that maybe we're going to rely on the run game a little bit more than we have previously. And obviously with Stidham being in there as opposed to Bo Nix, you're probably going to play a little more conservatively down the field as far as the passing game goes. So I just think it's important that this team is locked in on early downs, winning early downs, trying to get in manageable situations. I think the more that you can kind of keep the Patriots defense off balance, the better that you'll be. And if you can kind of create situations on second and third down where they're both run and pass situations, and you feel good about being able to utilize both through your game plan, I think that that's a good way to be able to gain some ground on this team. I think that we're going to have to see, I think, when possible in opportune moments, someone's going to have to win in the through the air. One of the receivers or multiple of the receivers are going to have to put a kind of their stamp on this game. I think this is a good chance for Courtland Sutton to have a good bounce back. He's going to be up against a good secondary with the Patriots. Especially their corner. I can't think of his name right now. Why am I blanking on his name? I liked him in the draft.
Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah, Christian. So it's going to be a hard fought matchup for him. I'm sure that he'll get a lot of, if not always, covered by Gonzalez. I just think that it's got to start on the ground for me. It's got to start with your ability to move the ball early downs. You've got to be able to, let Stidham have opportunity to work in the passing game, and you've got to be able to give him options to take pressure off of them if they're really pinning their ears back. A little bit underrated defense, I think, by this Patriots team. I don't think there's a lot of names that we would call household names on that defense. But as a unit, Vrabel has them playing well. They play downhill. They're physical at the line of scrimmage. So it'll be tough, but I think that, there are some things that the Broncos can game plan to their advantage on the offensive side of the ball.
To be honest with you, this is one of those, and it's a little bit nature, but kind of not. But next play really took off when J.K. Dobbins got hurt.
Yeah.
Which is good that your offensive leader steps his game up when probably your offensive MVP for the first 10 games was J.K. Dobbins, I think. I don't even know if that's debatable. I mean, you could say it's Garrett Bowles or something, if you want it. For the Broncos to Stidham, he's.
Hey, Doc, I think you're someone's saying in the chat that the audio is not good right now. I don't know if you can.
No.
Sorry, y'all. Happens. We'll let him cook when he gets back here. He's going to check on his internet connection. We all have 1,000 kids with 1,000 devices, so that doesn't help us either. But he's going to look at that right now. No. But we're working through it at the moment. Just to kind of vamp while the Doc's working on that. Stidham is an interesting backup quarterback to have. I think there is some ability there. I think there's an ability to potentially even run with the ball, which I think will be interesting to see how much they utilize that. I think they'll have to at points on Saturday. Sunday. You there? It's still a little rough. I'm not sure if it's your connection or what, but yeah. So Stidham, just the lack of starts, I think, is the biggest concerning thing. The lack of actual game snaps. Obviously we've seen him in the preseason. He has some good highlights. I know he can. He can throw the ball. He had some dimes in the preseason. This isn't something that we, from an ability standpoint, that we worry that he can do. It's just that's the biggest stakes he's going to have played in an NFL game ever. It's one of those things. Wow, I'm really big now. It's just one of those things that you can't really game plan for. And so the good thing is he's been with this team now. He's worked in Sean Payton's system. He is familiar with the play calls. He's worked scout team. He's worked with the personnel that are on this team. And so I think you feel better about that scenario as opposed to someone maybe who's not as familiar with Sean Payton in his system. Stiddy's I have some hope that he can do something through the air. I know that there's a lot of people, national media, I think we've all been kind of keeping an eye on what they're saying about this matchup. I think a lot of people have written us off. I don't remember who I was watching. I think it was maybe Cowherd or something. I think it was Simmons was saying this one's over already. And I like Simmons and I like the stuff that they put out, but this is why you play the games. Anything can happen over the course of a game. Even if you don't feel great about the situation, this defense has been one to get pressure all season long. It's not, they're not going to go into this game unprepared, no matter the situation. They're going to compete. It's just a matter of whether they can come out on top and if they can be opportunistic in the moments that they have to be able to do that. And so a lot remains to be seen there. But this is an opportunity for Sean Payton to kind of put a stamp on, just kind of his legacy in general, his legacy with the Broncos. Even if you get one, say it's one win, say he gets to the Super Bowl and loses, I mean, you're thrust into a really tough position with your starting quarterback going out in, the second to last game of the season. And the word on the street, and it's pretty well established that Sean Payton's kind of an offensive genius. And so, when you're in an opportunity where coaching needs to win you a lot of reps, as opposed to just your player and personnel being athletic and creating separation and whatnot, this is this perfect opportunity to kind of to elevate his name. Kind of, I think everyone sees him as a really great coach. Elevate that legacy, elevate yourselves to the next level, to the Hall of Fame lock kind of, coach that a lot of people think that you are, but you haven't been able to put together that resume. This is his opportunity. So a lot of things to look forward to. I think the Broncos defensively, I think you really got to lock in on the run game. They've got a two-headed monster, quote unquote, with Ramondre Stevenson and TreVeyon Henderson. Henderson's really kind of your guy that you want to rein in a little bit more. He has more big play ability as far as being able to break off a run for a touchdown. Great scoring opportunities. Ramondre's tough, but he's prone to turning the ball over. So the defense needs to know that going into it, and I'm sure that they will. If we have an opportunity to play in a weather game, it's going to make the conditions tough. It's going to make it difficult to hold on to that ball, and the Broncos need to be able to attack that ball and try and get more turnovers like they did against the Bills. Let's see. Big E Bronco, Drake May turns the ball over like he did in the first two playoff games. That just gives us the win. Listen, Drake May has been really great this year. Conversations about him being an MVP candidate, I think that he's played up to that at times. Last 2 weeks, he has not. He's shown that he's human. He's shown that he's a young quarterback who's still kind of finding his footing in this league. I think kind of his late push at the end of last year and all the way through this year, he's looked pretty good. He's looked pretty poised. He looks like a gamer. But the last 2 games, it's a different kind of intensity. It's a different kind of focus that you need. Their offensive line looks shaky. He didn't have the best protection when they were dropping back to pass the ball, and Campbell on the left side struggled. It's something that our defensive ends potentially, they haven't been as productive in the last couple weeks either, but something that they need to be noting. And we'll see if Campbell can hold up against the pass rush. We also need to get pushed from the middle. They've done a fairly nice job stopping the run. Cooks is a tough running back to take down. He's just quick and jittery. Obviously prone to turning the ball over, which we capitalized on Singleton with that nice helmet on the ball fumble. But, this is an offensive line that I don't know that the Broncos defense should fear. It's one that they should be ready to kind of pin their ears back and go after Drake May when they have that. It's, there is a recipe to win this game. Is it tough with Bo out? Absolutely. Is it going to be, are the odds stacked against them? I think for sure. I don't think we'll go into this game favored. I think just from the quarterback position, quarterback play is so important in this league. It's just one of those things that they're going to have to find a way to game plan around. I guess the doc is not going to be able to rejoin us. I'm not sure what was going on with his feed, so we do apologize for that. Hopefully you were able to stick in with us for the rest of it. Final prediction, man. I'm torn. If you're a avid watcher of our podcast or our streams, some may know me as the pessimist. Some may know me as the not as optimistic Broncos fan of the two, of myself and the doctor. I don't want to lean into that. I think that there is a recipe for this game to be a success. I think there is a recipe for this team to end up in the Super Bowl. Now, once we get there, we'll see what happens. Either way, the opponent from the NFC is going to be really tough. Seattle's looked great this season. Rams have proven that they can win a Super Bowl with Matt Stafford at the helm. So, we'll see when it comes to Super Bowl predictions, but I think that the Broncos can get a win. I picked a 1-point game last week for the Broncos. I'll pick a 1-point game again this week. I'm going to say 24-23 Broncos win. So fingers crossed. Let's pour all of our love into Jarrett Stidham this week. Let's get Dobbins healthy on the field. That'll do a lot for this team. Just keep supporting our boys, man. Go out there and like Coach Chris said, he's going to be out there on Sunday. I'm sure a number of you will be out there on Sunday. Go out there, be loud, give our team the biggest advantage we can, which is that home field advantage in the altitude, potentially in the snow, in a noisy stadium. This game is not over. It has to be played. You play the games for a reason. This is the NFL. Any given Sunday, even in the playoffs, we've seen crazier things happen. Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. There's been a number of guys that the doc was saying earlier that, are just kind of guys in the league, game managers that have won Super Bowls. Trent Dilfer, Brad Johnson, those types of guys. So we'll see what Jarrett Stidham has in him on Sunday. But, we'll be out there cheering. We'll be home on our couches. Everyone's eyes will be glued there, and we'll be rooting for our team. So we've got to call it here today. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for being with us. We always appreciate you. We'll be back next week, 2:30-ish, to talk about the outcome of the game and also hit you up with some abs, nuggets, etc. Here you go, 5280. It's real, and the Pats aren't coming into Denver until Saturday. Let's go, Denver. Hey, like I said, we got a shot. Go out there, support your boys. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Appreciate you. We're calling it a day. Be kind to one another. Be safe out there. And if you need a sports prescription, ask a doctor.
From football to hockey, we're taking it higher. Join the celebration, feel that sports desire. So grab your crew, let's hit the show. Mile High Sports Symposium, let the good times flow.